Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Side Tabled.
Mini table.
Coffee table.
Coffee table.
That sounds like more... If we do like a literary review of something, we'll have it as like the coffee table.
We're allowed to wear smoking jackets and velvet things and pipes.
If you want to, you can.
Thanks.
I'm not saying anybody else will, but if you want to. So in this episode, what we thought we'd talk about quickly, Simon's been away this weekend to a 2-day Guild Ball tournament.
I have.
At the
just got back.
Northwest Gaming Centre.
In Stockport, that's right, yeah.
Yep. And I've had my first game of Age of Sigmar.
I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know it all.
I kind of feel like when you say it should be like huge amounts of reverb and like, Age of Sigmar!
Now you've said that, you'll need to put that on in the edit yourself. So
Yeah.
that's more work for you.
But
lucky.
May or may not do it. So yeah, so we just thought we'd talk quickly about those two things, and Simon's also got a interview with the tournament organisers.
Yeah, which is Jay from Guild Ball Informer.
Yep.
So the guy who ran the tournament. Just asking him a few questions about running it, because obviously I've never ran a Guild Ball tournament, to find out.
So, 2-day event.
Yeah.
How'd you get on?
Personally, so the way it worked, basically, it was the first ever 2-day Guild Ball event, and the way the Guild Ball official rules work is when you run a tournament, it says how many players you have and how many games you have to have. So they had 12 players, which meant, according to the official rules, you meant to have 4 league games, if you like, for the tournament. So because it was organised over 2 days, we had 3 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday. So what they basically ended up doing is saying, well, the first 2 games are just warm-up, practice games, pre-season friendlies, if you like, for the Guild Ball. And in those games, I won both. You might see where this is about to go once we start. So won both friendlies, and then game 3 onwards was the actual league itself, if that makes sense. So in terms of the games, when we got to the league, I took my Butchers, which is the usual Butchers, and I also made sure I had Rage and Gutter as my union representatives.
So, Bishop, before we go any further, so did you have to use the same 6 players every single game, or could you?
No.
Right.
So the way it works is it's a bit like a Champions League in the football. So you take a squad of 8 players to the tournament,
and then you choose which ones you want to use.
And you can swap around depending who you're playing and stuff. Most people who were there, I'd say, used the same 6 for all games. I made the substitution after my second league game for 1 player. Other than that, I just used the same ones for the whole tournament as well. Is the way it works. But I quite like that because it gives you a little bit of flexibility, but it doesn't get into the mindset of who's got the most money, who's bought the most models. You can just do what they like with it.
Yeah, because I think it was with some other game systems, I think War Machine and Malifaux, you do get people who essentially have brought the entire faction and then can turn up with the entire faction and choose them all, tailor each and every list. And it's just like, when it reaches that level, you just look and you go, I don't even know how to begin to get into this as a tournament game because I can't afford to buy every single model. I don't have the time to build and paint every single model. And I don't have the time to learn how to use every single model. But if it's just restricted to a couple of extra from a standard team, that's enough that, you know, anybody can conceivably afford to buy, have the time to paint and to learn how to use.
And I think the reason why they do that in Guild Ball is because at the moment every team in Season 1 has 7 players available to them. So I think it's basically a case of 7 players plus one mercenary from the Union, which is your squad of 8. And as I say, everyone had the squad of 8, and everyone had at least 1 Union player in there, obviously to make up the 8 and stuff for it. So once the league kicked off, we ignored who'd played who in the practice. It was all drawn from the start. My first game was Alchemists, which is your team.
Yep.
So I sat down opposite the guy, Lee. First time I met Lee, said hello. How was your experience at Guild Ball? And he said, I've had 2 games in my life so far. They were the 2 practice games I'd done that morning. I went, okay. So we played, and I got a 12-0 win. I don't think he knew how Butchers play.
Also, I do think from looking, and this isn't just me making excuses, I think the Alchemists are one of the harder teams to learn.
Yeah, it's what you say now. It's what you say now. But we did have a conversation afterwards where I said, well, maybe next time do this and do this.
Yeah.
And he didn't realise, I think, when we've had the conversation in the last mini side table episode, how the smoke stays up and the effects, because he thought he wasn't doing them because he thought, well, what's the point? They just disappear in 2 minutes. So I had to sort of teach him a little bit at the end just to say, oh, by the way, it'll do this and things. So that was that game. Game 4 was against Henry, and he had his fisherman. And I just want to point out as well what one big difference between the games we've played was it was on chess clock.
Oh, that's quite a nice touch. Is that in the official Guild Ball rules?
In the official Guild Ball rules. Now, in the official rules, the chess clock goes from 35 minutes a player for like the top like ETC level up to, I think it's 55 minutes for like friendlies. Now, these were set to 45 minutes. And basically what happens, you get 45 minutes in total, and then once you've run out, you get a minute for every player. For every minute you play, your opponent gets another point. So you can quickly lose the game after 45 minutes and stuff. So it gave it quite a different atmosphere. And I didn't notice it on game 1 when I was playing Lee, but playing Henry, it was very intense in a way, because we didn't have time to talk in a way. I think we both had the experience in the first league game, going, "Oh my god, we've got to get this chess clock going," and I didn't like it. I'll be honest. It's not against Henry, obviously, and stuff, but it gave the pressure that I thought I can't really just have a joke and a laugh too much, because even your maintenance phase, when you're allocating influence, it's all on the chess clock. It doesn't stop. So it just gave it a little bit, and that was against the fisherman. I did get beat 12-8 in that.
So relatively close still.
Relatively close, and afterwards I worked out I could have easily won it, but only afterwards, because we also used the play cards that we've not really been using in the league because they're not available to buy yet. And one of them basically would have won the game for me, and I completely forgot because I got so wound up in the chess clock and things. But 12-8, lost that one. The next game up. Oh, by the way, after this game, the top 4 was a union team and 3 fishermen team. So just to point out where all the fishermen went, they went up in 2nd, 3rd and 4th place with the union on table 1. All the brewers and butchers and masons and stuff were on the bottom tables, shall we say. Game 3, I was playing brewers. I hate brewers because they're the only team who actually beat up the butchers. Really don't like them. I did get beat 12-4, I think it was, or maybe in 12-8. I just can't deal with brewers. I still haven't worked out how to deal with them. And their captain, in my opinion, is the best captain in the game. Hopper. He's by far the best, because what he does, basically, he puts influence on himself. He does his attacks. He then can generate 2 more influence on himself. So he's attacking you again. And then he can pop his heroic for 1 momentum and give himself more influence and do more attacks. And he can do that every single turn. It is ridiculous. So once he gets going, I think he's genuinely the best captain in the game as well. So I lost that game, and then my last game was against one of the organisers, Jamie from the Guild Ball YouTube, and I beat.
Is that Guild Ball Informer?
Guild Ball Informer, yes. So there's 2 of them. There's Guild Ball Informer and Guild Ball. I'm really sorry, I forgot what it is now.
Tonight.
Guild Ball Tonight, the excellent podcast from Phil and Bill from America. Check that out, by the way, if you've not heard that one. That's really good. Played his fisherman, and that was a 12-8 victory to me. And it was a victory because I actually scored a goal with the butchers. Lord behold. So it was really good overall. The winner at the end of it was the Union.
Yep.
Who basically he's quite good, Chris, who was playing the Union, because he lost his 2 warm-up games and then won all 4 once the league started.
Yeah, see, that's the
way to do it. So that's Chris Hay. He's at CD Hay on Twitter. He used the Union. He was the only Union player there. And I was asking him a little bit about it and stuff, and he was just telling me how he uses the Union. And it's things I've never thought of, how he does it. So I was like, do you just charge Rage in and do the damage? He goes, no, I don't. I use Rage as a threat, but I use Rage's influence to tool up Gutter's damage, and then send Gutter in and pull people around and stuff. And Hemlock takes the ball because she's on 6s to be hit. She can't be hit, and it's really opened up my eyes actually to different ways. But I think what I've learned basically is the way the teams play. You've almost got to think each game, I'm going just for damage. I'm going just for the goals. Because I think the people who were losing the games were trying to do a bit of everything. So no matter who you are, you've got to make that decision up front to basically say, I'm going to get the 3 goals here. And if you happen to hit someone and beat them up, fine. Or I'm getting 6 takeouts, you happen to score, fine. And there was quite a lot of people who were getting the ball, decided they were going to beat up the opponent, and sort of running the ball back to their back corner. And I was defending it and saying, if you want the ball,
yeah, come and get it.
Come and get it, basically. And obviously against the fishermen going, I don't really want to. But basically, the last game was Chris's Union against the fisherman team, and it was 12-0 to the Union, so it was well deserved. Basically, won all 4 games, absolutely smashed everyone. And hopefully, because I've bought the Union this weekend, and I'll be putting a little video clip up of my unboxing of the Union set soon on the YouTube video. Hopefully, I can try and emulate what he's done.
Because you should have said you've also done an unboxing video for the Fisherman.
Yes.
Which, by the time you listen to this, will be up. I've also got an unboxing video for the Alchemists. That's the full team because it was part of the Kickstarter. That's already up on YouTube. So if you want to have a look and see the models and see what they look like, sort of in the flesh, and see somebody else's views on them, you can do that for those 2. And actually, the Union might be up there by then as well, depending on how long it takes you to upload the Fisherman one.
Yeah, might be a while at my speed. But I think overall, I mean, what's been really good is we've played Guild Ball because it's a brand new game. It's not been long out, and we've played it a lot between ourselves. And I think every game I played, there was at least one new thing or one new rule that came up, and I went, "Oh, that's how it's played." Oh, I never understood that. I thought it was this. And they've gone, oh, no, this has been discussed and this is how it works and how it's meant to work and stuff. So it's been really good for that. And I think for the game itself, there's been 5 official tournaments so far and 5 different guilds have won it, which is really good. So I think if you're going to go into the next one, you need to take masons, engineers or morticians.
Are they the only ones that haven't won?
They're the only 3 who have yet to win.
So I mean, somebody managed to win with the Alchemists.
Correct. Someone's won with the Alchemists. So
how the hell did they do that?
You need to find out.
I need to find this one
person.
person.
I'm buying one of those 3 teams.
Who knows
go
how
to the next one.
Who actually knows how the Alchemists work.
No, absolutely really good. And as Neil said before, I did a quick interview with Jay, one of the tournament organisers there. So I've just asked his opinion, what he thinks. And he also gave us a little scoop for the big tournament at the end of the year coming up as well. So if you want to find out a little bit of information, you can stay tuned for that.
Yep. I think we'll put that on the end of this conversation rather than attaching it to the end.
Yes, of course, yeah.
But I mean, first off, because you're planning on running your own Guild Ball tournament in probably a couple of months, aren't you?
Yes.
So, will you be using chess clocks?
Do you know, it's a good question. I think I probably will, but I think I'll add extra time on. And I think one of the other things as well is the first 2 games I had, we were letting it run through the maintenance phase. And then when I got to game 3, one of the guys basically said, do you mind if we pause it during the maintenance? Because the maintenance phase is where you apply poisons and bleeds and stuff. And actually, I took a lot of the pressure off. You were only using it when you were playing the game.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a much better experience then because I was playing Brad with his Brewers in game 3. We could have a little bit of a chat as well. So I don't want to ruin it, but then you need to make sure people aren't taking forever.
Well, I mean, also, as a tournament organiser, a chess clock is a fantastic tool because the one thing you can't have as a TO is everybody else has finished their games.
Yeah.
And there's those 2 people because there's those 2 particularly slow players who are only halfway through.
Yeah.
And everybody else is stood around and starting to get bored and starting to get a bit sort of antsy and don't really know what to do. And I think it cuts a lot of that out. And also, at that point, to then be able to, the TO, walk over to that one team and go, look, guys, you need to hurry up with your maintenance phases because I know we're not timing them, but you're still taking too long.
Yeah.
So you need. I think just even stood there going, I appreciate you want to chat, but can you chat at the end so we can get through? And so it gives you that way of speeding up and getting those rounds down, and also because you can look and go, right, well, I'm giving everybody 50 minutes, say, on the chess clock. So that's 110 minutes, and then I'm going to give you half an hour for your maintenance phases. So I can then plan an hour and 40 minutes a turn.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you probably need so if it's 50 minutes, that's what, an hour and 40, is it? and then at most you need an extra 24 minutes
Yeah.
on top, because in theory it could be 0-0, and then you get a point for every minute you go over that, so you need up to 12 points. So in theory,
So I
it's
suppose
going to be
you're still
2
there.
hours.
You're looking at the 2 hour.
Maximum. But yeah, so I'll be looking probably first weekend in October. Just need to confirm a few things with the venue and stuff, and then we'll try and run it in our venue in Leeds if we can.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to put on after the break Simon's interview with the tournament organisers.
Yeah.
And then after that, when we come back, I'm going to be talking about my first game of Age of Sigmar and my thoughts about it. So we'll see you in a bit.
Bye-bye. Okay, so welcome back. I'm here with Jay from Guild Ball Informer,
Hi guys, you alright?
and this is at the I believe the first weekend Guild Ball tournament ever.
First 2-day tournament, yeah.
Wow. So first of all, why Guild Ball?
Well, I think like everyone here, we've all fell in love with this game. It's a brilliant game. Sports skirmish game, very solid rule set, so much fun to play, and it's such a deep game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you scratch the surface and you think this is a really easy game to pick up. And we say about a lot of games, don't we? Easy to learn, hard to master. But this truly is, because you can just keep pulling away layers of the game, and it just seems to get better and better. And it's like you just get engrossed by it all. I absolutely love it. I can't get enough at the moment.
I mean, I find every game I learn something new.
Yeah.
And there's another where the team works together and stuff.
Exactly, the synergy and just how bringing one player in can absolutely turn on your head what you've been playing for the last couple of months and stuff.
No, definitely. So obviously you're running the tournament.
Yep, this weekend, yep.
How's the tournament gone for you?
It's gone really well. I couldn't be happier with it. It's everyone seems to be having fun. You've enjoyed your games?
I have. I've got to say that now. No, I have.
I wanted that on record, yeah. No, it's been good. Everyone's enjoying the games. We've got one left this afternoon, last game. It's looking like Fishermen are going to do very well this weekend.
I tell you what, they surprised me how well
there is
done
potential
today.
for a Fisherman 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's looking good.
And does anything surprise you in the tournament in terms of like rules queries or anything that's come up?
Yeah, the lack of them, to be honest. There's been I've seen a lot of rules getting settled amongst the games. There's been a lot less than I expected. I was surprised not to see any Mortician teams this weekend. I was expecting engineers. I kind of understand. Morticians, I was very surprised not to see. I mean, we've got 3 fishermen, 3 butchers, 3 brewers. I didn't think we'd see 3 brewers either.
No,
so,
I'm surprised how many there are brewers actually.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see all the different teams. And what I love seeing is, like, you're seeing people play, for example, brewers versus brewers. And they're coming away from it with a smile on their face because they've played their own team and they've seen a whole new way to use that team. It's brilliant. And everyone's going, I've learned so much about my own team because we've been playing it and stuff.
Okay.
But no, the weekend's been, I've put it down as a big success anyway.
Big success. So
Big
the question
success.
is, will you do it again in the
Yes,
future?
1,000,000%. End of the year.
All right.
This weekend is part of like a multi-format event at the Northwest Gaming Centre, and we've agreed to do this. We're not making any money from the tournament or anything like that. One of the reasons we agreed to do it is to get the TO and stuff down as a bit of a dry run, because me and Jamie from Guild Ball TV, we've got something much bigger planned at the end of the year.
Oh,
so
okay.
that is, this weekend was effectively the foundations for what we want to do at the end of the year. Spoilers.
Hashtag spoilers.
The Skaldic Shield, it'll be called.
Oh, right, okay.
So,
There's an exclusive then.
There you go.
Shield.
More information coming soon.
So obviously you're running it with Jamie.
Absolutely, yep.
So you've both got your own video blogs, is it?
We do. We've both got YouTube channels. Jamie has a Guild Ball TV, which is a weekly slot on Guild Ball he does on the GBHL podcast, which is a YouTube channel, and I've got the YouTube channel Guild Ball Informer. If you've not subscribed, why not?
Why not? I've been annoying everyone with Guild Ball every week.
Yeah.
So why not?
So you should. So if anyone wants to check it out, please go and have a look. There's plenty of good stuff coming. I'd love you all to get involved, and if not, just check out Guild Ball. Tremendous game. Everyone, I think one thing that's amazed me with this game is I've done a hell of a lot of demos around Manchester.
Yeah.
And it's got a 100% success rate. I've never demoed the game to someone who hasn't bought into it.
Oh wow, that's a great sign. And
I can honestly say I've done 30 demos easy.
Oh wow.
So I'd recommend anyone who's listening.
So you need to go on commission then.
I wish I was. Let's put it that way.
So 2 quick questions then.
Yep.
Your favourite team?
Engineers.
Engineers?
Yep.
I've got to ask why then.
as fast as the fishermen, play just as good football as the fishermen, but they can switch and become a massive damage output team. I think the versatility of them, they're very forgiving, and the fact that you've got Ballista, the captain, and Salvo, the vice captain, with ranged attacks that can knock down. Like the captain, for example, for 2 influence, can knock you 4 inches away, knock you down, and cause 3 damage.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you're running with the ball. If he can't reach it, it doesn't matter. He gets close enough and just goes bang.
Shoot you.
There you go.
Right.
The ball bounces, and then if that doesn't land where I need it to, Salvo goes and does the same thing. They're such a defensive team, and I've tried all the teams. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
I went massive into this game when I fell in love with it, and I've found a serious love for the engineers. They're so much fun to play, and they can turn the hand to anything. They're so versatile. They're great.
Awesome. And
Very
then,
good.
what's your biggest hope for season 2?
Biggest hope for season 2.
I'll put you on the spot now. Oh, there's pressure on there. I'll tell you, mine is about the balance.
Yep.
And I hope the new team doesn't either too powerful or too weak or break
Correct.
something.
Yeah.
But
This may sound like a negative, but it's not. I hope the Hunters Guild is the only new guild we're going to get.
okay.
Because obviously it's coming out in November. We've got so much stuff that we're all still learning.
Yeah.
We've got 68 models in the range. I think
Already.
it is to play with and experiment with. And I think I'd love to really get to grips with all the teams and stuff. But knowing how bad I am with buying new toys, if they release 3 teams, I'm going to buy them. And I'd love to see just the Hunters Guild come out and be able to really spend some time watching how they fit into the meta at the moment.
Fantastic.
Should be good.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
No, thanks for having us on.
And fingers crossed for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Take
Bye.
care.
So we're back. So this morning I went to the club
Oh, yeah.
and I had my first game of Age of Sigmar against Daz.
Okay, so I need to ask because I've been stuck off Twitter this weekend, really. Actually, people won't believe that I've listened to this because I've probably just been spamming Guild Ball, but I've
You've not had time to check
I've
through
not
your,
had
your
time to check.
timeline, yeah.
So I saw a little bit about Age of Sigmar, but I've got no idea what it is. I don't know how to play it. So, how was your first game?
It was interesting.
Uh-oh.
First thing it has to be, well, first off, I have written a blog post about this if you want to go and check that out, where I put down sort of my views on the game. And in that, I go into quite a lot of detail running through the game up until turn 2. And there's a reason for that, because the game ran sort of quite interestingly up until turn 2. Which is what I'll go into. But I mean, first thing to say, which I think everybody's picked up on, is we've got all these war scores for every single unit. No point values.
Yeah, I mean, because I was there at midnight on Friday when they all went live. I haven't really looked at them because obviously I've been playing a tournament all weekend and stuff. But I was trying to look at it thinking, well, how do I build a list? And I was thinking, do I still use the points from 8th edition to build a list? And
you see, they're different. The rules are completely different, so I'm not sure that works.
Right.
What me and Daz did, we did the adult thing. We did the thing that Games Workshop wants you to do, which is before we played the game, we had a conversation.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. It's awful, this having to talk to your opponent thing. So we decided, Daz had already played one game against James.
Right.
And in that game, they decided to use as a kind of point system wounds.
Okay, because...
So they played a 100 wound game.
Right.
And then they put in some other restrictions. So they said 1 to 2 heroes, 1 to 12 war scrolls in total. And that no scroll could be over 30 wounds.
Oh, so it's not big, massive blob units.
And 0 to 2 monsters.
Okay.
Now, Daz played that through yesterday and he said he thought it played a bit too quickly. So what we decided to do, 150 wounds.
Okay, so can I just ask, so 150 wounds, what's that in old money?
I haven't actually pointed it out, but I reckon it's well in excess of 2,500 points I've done the
Oh, so quite a decent game then, quite a decent size.
I'll run through briefly what I had. It'll give you an idea. I had a Demon Prince.
Oh, you filthy bugger.
They're not actually that good.
Oh,
I had a Chaos Sorcerer.
Okay.
I had a unit of 13 Marauders.
Right.
I had a unit of 15 Warriors of Chaos, because Warriors of Chaos now have 2 wounds.
Oh, nice.
So that was maximum
nice,
30.
Right.
I had another unit of 6 Warriors of Chaos. That's because I forgot to bring the Chimera.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have had a Chimera.
Okay.
I then had 2 units of 5 Marauder Horsemen. They also now have 2 wounds each because it's a guy and a horse.
Okay.
I had a unit of 5 Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights now have 3 wounds each.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
I then had... Just me thinking... Yep, this is also what I had. I then took a Giant.
Okay.
And I took a Hell Cannon.
Okay, so a bit of everything, I'd
Yeah.
say. A bit of everything, yeah.
Now that is actually more than 0 to 2 monsters because the Demon Prince counts as a monster.
Right.
But obviously, I had a conversation with Daz and said, struggling to fit him for the models I have, and also the way the Warriors of Chaos is designed. It's an army of monsters with it's an army of humans who go to war with a load of monsters alongside them.
Yeah, and you're letting the game, so you can. Yeah.
So we had that conversation. This is what I took. Daz brought his Skaven. See if I can remember his list.
Can I guess what it is for Daz? 300 Storm Fiends.
No.
Oh, right, okay, carry on then.
Again, we had we played an adult game where we played with our opponents, not against them. So he brought a unit of 30 Storm Vermin, a unit of 30 regular Skaven,
okay,
Screaming Bell, completely forgot the name for a Vermin Lord.
Oh, okay, a big Vermin Lord, right? Okay.
Warp Lightning Cannon,
yeah,
Doom Wheel, 3 Storm Fiends, a BSB character, not really a BSB, but that type of character. And I think, and a unit of 30 Plague Monks.
Okay, so we had a lot of big units.
Yeah. So the first thing, when we actually set it up, it looked like we had armies on the board. Because if you've seen a Warriors of Chaos army in 8th edition, it doesn't really look like an army. You've got like some big monsters and the odd small unit.
And how did you set them up?
So what you do, you dice off, and then you set up alternate. I placed a war scroll.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall into saying units at some point, but I place a war scroll, you place a war scroll.
Okay.
The way you set it up is you divide the board in half. Any way you want, you divide the board in half.
Right.
If you want to do some strange sort of zigzaggy thing, you can do.
Okay.
Although that would then make it really difficult to deploy. So we just did what you would essentially think of as being battle line because it's the easiest.
Yeah.
We had quite a bit of terrain on the board. Made sure there was at least one piece in every 2-foot square. We then promptly didn't really use any of the terrain rules.
Yeah, just for learning and stuff. Did you set up rank and file movement trays, or did you set up with the new everyone's everywhere?
Everyone's everywhere, which essentially meant I had like a large. I couldn't. It's really hard to get out of, especially when they're on square bases. That you have rows, even if those rows are spread apart. So basically, everything looked like it was a skirmisher in 8th edition.
Right. The reason I asked that because I was glancing over the rules again. I've been away this weekend and stuff, but it said you just have to make sure models are within 1 inch.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything to say you couldn't just put them on a movement tray and rank them up. And
you could do if you wanted to,
but there's no reason to.
There's no reason to, and because you can't go through terrain, you have to go around terrain.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
if there's a tree. You have to go around the tree.
Oh wow! Okay, right. That's different, right?
Because obviously you're not a ranked unit anymore, so they don't have to do the thing of, well, you move the tree out the way, and then you plonk your movement tray down where the tree was, and then when you've moved your unit on, you put your tree back. You don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
So we set up. We rolled. So you went first.
Mm-hmm.
I won the roll.
And this roll is just a D6 every turn, is it?
D6 every single turn you roll. So you can have one turn, then another turn straight after.
Oh, okay.
Potentially. If you get the roll. Set off. First thing, you can charge first turn. Managed to do it a unit Marauder Horseman because they've got a 12-inch move. Does a bit his Doom Wheel, quite close. Managed to roll high enough that I got a first turn charge off.
Okay.
Unit 5 Marauder Horsemen, because they hit everything. Well, because mine had Javelin, which aren't the best. I don't think the best thing for Marauder Horsemen. But so they hit on 5s always. They wound on 4s. always.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you're fighting against. So there's no toughness value or anything anymore.
Does that feel weird? And I know you might come on to this. Does that feel weird? Because I'd have
Very.
thought if I'm hitting a Skaven Slave, it's one thing. If I'm then hitting a Steam Tank, for example, I'm like, sure, I shouldn't be wounding these on the side.
No, but the Steam Tank would obviously have a higher armour. But then nothing really has more than a 4+ armour save.
Right.
There's no 1-up armour saves running around anymore.
Oh, okay, right.
And once again, the horses proved to do more than the guys on top did.
So some things don't change.
No, some things don't change. But the thing that I did find in the first turn, and I was just like, this is amazing, is I waited for 5, probably more than that, probably more than 5 years. I played with a Hell Cannon at various points. In those 5 years, once it panicked an ogre horde off the board that had the general and the BSB in it first turn when it was a blood and glory scenario and I won the game. Every other game I've ever used, it's been awful.
Right.
It's blown itself up, it's just not done anything. In this, they're amazing. Because you can fire 2 shots. Your shots hit on a 4+. If you don't move, they hit on a 3+. So you can move and shoot.
Yeah, alright, okay.
If you're shooting at a... hits on +1. If you're shooting at a unit with more than 20 models, you get another +1. So theoretically you can hit on a 2+.
Oh, because the big units and stuff, right, okay.
You wound on a 3+, and it just does D6 wounds.
And
it does D6 what's called mortal wounds, and you don't get a save against a mortal wound.
And does that... So say you hit on 3+ for not moving, for
Yeah.
example. Is that 3+ whether I'm shooting at a single demon prince
Doesn't matter.
or a unit? All right, okay.
And then, so turn 1, I one-shotted his water lightning cannon.
So is there no, scatter dice anymore or anything
No
like
scatter
that?
dice.
They've all gone now?
As far as I can see, I've not
At the
read,
moment,
I've
they've
not
gone.
read through every single war scroll, but as far as I can see, there's no templates.
Because obviously the Hell Cannon was a bit like a rock lobber where
Yeah.
you have to scatter, but not
But
anymore.
yeah, there are no templates.
Oh, right, okay.
But also, they fixed cannons. Because cannons hit on a 4+.
So it's only 50-50 now.
Yeah, and I think they may be wounded on a 3+ or something, and they fixed. That's massive. There's no more fast cav jiggery pokery. If you're one of the Dark Half players who used to play with the I don't want my opponent to have a game, I'm just going to sit there and enjoy myself whilst my opponent doesn't get any fun at all out of the game, and I don't understand why that's not a problem, people. I'm afraid you're going to have to go and find a different game because that doesn't work anymore.
Yes! They've gone!
Yep.
I hate them!
And it feels like a really good, really tight game.
Okay.
But then, turn 2, my entire army charged.
Right, okay. So you move and then charge?
Yeah.
That's how, right, okay.
You just roll 2d6, you don't have your movement. Very much like 40k.
Oh, it's just like 40k,
Yeah.
right, okay. So you're either in or you're not.
Yeah. So my entire army charged, and then we just kind of ground each other out.
Okay.
And at that point, this is why I said the blog post. It goes up to like turn 2, everything charged, and then the blog post kind of fades away in detail because the game kind of fades away in detail. Because at that point, it's just a case of I'm rolling these many dice, hit on 4s, wound on 4s. There's no. It got to somewhere in turn 4, and we just looked and said, Daz has obviously won. Shall we just leave it?
Right.
Because we could have carried on playing, but there wasn't really any point. And that's because, other than kill your opponent, or some specific rules for if you're outnumbered,
Yeah.
which if you figure it out between you that shouldn't really be happening. There's no victory conditions. There's no scenarios. There's no missions. There's nothing to mean you would do anything other than move forward, charge at your enemy, and then fight. Because you can shoot and then fight them in the same round. Because you're not actually technically locked in combat. So if you've got a unit that has a missile weapon, you can walk up to them, shoot them, charge them, attack them. Next turn, you stood right next to them, shoot them, attack them.
Really?
Yep. And another unit can come along, shoot them.
Even if you're in combat?
Because then you're not in combat, because they could just walk away. But there's no real point in walking away, because there's nowhere to go. Because there's no... It feels like there is a... it feels like there's a layer of the rules that hasn't been included. And there's a layer of the rules that is army composition.
Yeah.
So how do you actually pick a balanced force? And missions and scenarios. So that there's replayability. Because at the moment, I wouldn't want to replay DAS again, because it was there didn't really seem any point. There's no real excitement there.
Oh, okay.
Because it just kind of ground itself out.
Is this because, obviously, while they've released the rules this weekend, the actual game doesn't come out till next weekend? And is this always a case of, we've given you something just to use your models now in a few games, but really everything's yet to come?
I really hope, because I love Warhammer Fantasy, I love Games Workshop, I've been playing Warhammer for 20 plus years. I really hope that at some point in the next couple of weeks they release an expansion book, and that expansion book has details of, this is how you pick an army, these are different options for how you play a game. You know, these hero load of scenarios, hero load of missions. It feels like, and we were actually talking about this at the end, that we would try it with the 40k Maelstrom mission cards.
Oh, okay. The object. Oh, right.
Because other than, I think, there's one for like destroying fortification, which you can't do. Every other card works. You know, it says something about Psyche, where you replace Psyche with Wizard.
Yes.
You've got flyers, so the things with flyers work, and that would automatically make it a much more fun game, because you wouldn't just be running into combat.
Oh, so you
then be pulling out and going, I'm in combat with this unit, but I need to get objective 6. I'm going to leave combat,
right,
because I can walk away, and I'm going to move towards objective 6 because I need that objective. And suddenly,
and so when it plays, when you're playing it, does it feel very 40k in a way? You can almost see they've taken their, I don't want to say successful rules. Oh no, all right, okay.
Because the only thing that's really 40k is the fact that it's a skirmish game.
Right, okay.
Because 40k uses the same tables that
weapon skill,
ballistic skill, strength versus toughness. That's all gone.
Right, okay.
So you're not using... So, I mean, I've played Warhammer since 3rd edition. Well, in 3rd edition, they were in the Warhammer rulebook. And they have been ever since. And, you know, this is not Warhammer. It's absolutely... As soon as they've taken that out, it's absolutely not Warhammer. It is a completely different game.
Age of Sigmar now.
It is Age of Sigmar. And that's not a bad thing. But I just don't think what we have at the moment is the full game. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that the full game comes out soon, because I want to play it. But I don't want to play this.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've got the game. I mean, we've all got the game pre-ordered anyway for the weekend and stuff. So I just wonder whether, obviously, you guys have jumped right in. I'm actually going to hold off until I get the actual game, because I'm assuming the two armies in there will be balanced and meant to play each other, and that will be an even Stevens game.
From what I've seen online, the Sigmarites are slightly better. You should find it easier to win with the Sigmarites than you should with the Chaos.
But that's normal. Cause
that's normal. Games
good
Workshop.
Guys.
Good guys, bad guys. It's always easier to win with the good guys.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping, because it doesn't look like there's any army composition rules or anything in the 96-page book or anything. I'm just hoping that comes out as a separate book, and it comes out soon.
Yeah, because one thing I did notice, and obviously we don't want to go into a full review here and all the rest of it, is in the rules it says pick what realm you're playing.
Yes.
And I haven't seen any rules for realms yet.
So I'm assuming that'll make a difference. I believe there's a Throne of Skulls. There should be a pack going up soon for a Throne of Skulls at Warhammer World that will have to be Age of Sigmar, because, you know...
That is the only game, yeah.
And hopefully, in that pack, there will be details of how you choose an army. Because at the moment, the way it's set up, I could literally turn up with every single Warriors of Chaos model ever made, and multiples of them, and then physically put as many as I could put down in a 6-foot square of board on the table, and play with that against my opponent. and he could put down 3 models, and that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. No.
So there needs to be, and hopefully when that comes out, that will then give at least everybody a standard that everybody can work to.
Okay, yeah, because obviously they'll produce what they expect from their playtesting experience. This is sort of the game we're aiming at.
Because they've been playing it for ages, so they've obviously already figured out it and know what's coming. So they must know they've already written that pack, which is what I wait for it to come out.
Yeah,
and hopefully there's between that and hopefully a supplement coming out with some expanded rules, there should be enough. But it looks like the scenery that's coming out from some of the pictures that have been doing the rounds, I haven't seen them, but from what I've been told, it comes with rules for things like garrisoning a building, which isn't in that 4-page rule book.
Right.
So that's already there is an expansion which covers that.
Oh, because I know they've said all the rules will be in boxes as you buy them.
Yeah.
Now.
So it may be that these do come out as like, you buy this pack of some, I don't know what it would be, and you get the rules for army compass. Like I say, I hope that's in a book, just because it's then something everybody can buy.
Yeah.
As opposed to in one set of models that then everybody has to buy that particular set of models.
Although that is a good business sense. Everyone has to buy those models.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, at the moment, I would say maybe hold off playing it.
Okay. Well, I think what we're probably going to end up doing is obviously we'll all pick it up this weekend as we're recording. We'll probably use the starter armies that are in there to have a few more games, use our existing models, and then we'll probably have quite a lengthy, detailed podcast episode quite soon after release, where we go through what changed in the fluff and the story, and also real first impressions now of how it's gone. But it's been interesting to hear your first, foray, shall we say, into Age of Sigmar, and goodbye 8th edition, hello Age of Sigmar. Excellent. And on that note, we'll wrap this up.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'll speak soon about a full detailed Age of Sigmar.
See you guys later.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Table Podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the show, you can visit the blog tablepodcast.com or follow us on Twitter @tablepodcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by leaving us a positive review on iTunes and by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, and we hope to hear from you again soon.